Let's talk about the adventure exam. More commonly known as the trials, the adventure exam is what you need to pass in order to become an adventurer. Held by the WGC, you can take the adventure exam at any time, regardless of the year, month, doesn't matter. However, there are a few requirements for you in order for you to partake within the adventure exams. You must be between the ages of 13 or 150 years old. Those below or above will have to prove themselves to be made an exception. The exceptions that are below the ages of 13 will qualify to become what is known as an elemental rookie. The amount of elemental rookies that succeed within the trials can be counted on 3 hands. I'll go more in depth on elemental rookies in another video. There are a few other requirements to partaking within the trials, like you can't have any items, you must be physically able, and you can't have any current illnesses or diseases. With that being said, let's get into the actual trials themselves. The trials are divided into 3 sections, or rather 3 tests. Physical capabilities, magical capabilities, and overall combat ability. You must pass at least 2 of 3 of these tests in order to consider yourselves an adventurer. No matter what WGC branch you go to, each test will always be the same no matter what. Reason for this is because the WGC deemed those tests that they currently have as adequate enough to gauge whether or not you would survive within the rifts as an adventurer. Because obviously their goal is to have you go adventure and not just to kick the bucket. For the magical assessment, they have you place your hand against a mongrel mirror to measure how much magic you have. It doesn't measure the quality, it only measures the quantity. And yes, there is a difference. Quality magic will always do more damage than the quantity. You would need a lot more quantity to even match the quality. But I digress. The magic is measured from 1 to 3,000. Normally a mongrel mirror is measured to 1 to 10,000, but for the exam specifically, it will be measured 1 to 3,000 since they're measuring rookies. Anything above a score of 1,500 is considered a pass. Unless you're below the age of 13, which then you need 1,800 to pass. Since you're younger, you need to go above and beyond to ensure that you have what it takes to stay alive. The second assessment is a physical assessment. For the second test, they pitch you up against 5 different goblin guards. Goblin guards are a type of monster that roam the entrances to rifts, which is why they're called goblin guards. They're big, hulking goblins that have muscle on them. They're incredibly slow, but they're also incredibly strong. A rookie could tank a hit and barely survive, so they're often used as an example. The goal of the second exam is to stay within the given ring for as long as possible. Bonus points are awarded for if you can block a hit, knock one down, or channel magic to increase your durability. I almost forgot that the second test is actually divided into 3 separate sections. Let me explain those before I get messed up. For the physical assessment, you run a test speed, dodge a test reflexes, and punch your overall strength. The goblin guards are the second part of that, which is to dodge and detect reflexes. The other 2 are pretty much self-explanatory. That's why I forgot about them. Now for the final test. In order to test combat ability, they call in a pro Rift Hunter or an ex-pro Rift Hunter in order to gauge your overall combat ability. A Rift Hunter is essentially a different class of adventure that's overall pretty much on the top. I'll go into them into another video. Moving on. The Rift Hunter will spar against you. Well, you'll spar against them. They'll try not to kill you. And then they'll tell you whether you pass or fail. Whether or not your combat skills are adequate enough to not get yourself killed when you enter a rift. Now, this is entirely subjective and depends on what kind of proctor you get for that exam. Overall, since there's the reputation of the WGC on the line, most proctors will give out very fair scores. Within the third trial, you are allowed to use any fighting style, weapons, items, whatever that they have available, which lines the walls of the exam room. Pretty much anything goes as long as the proctor allows it. Now, there are some nuances to the trials, but overall, that's pretty much what it entails. You can retake the adventure exam as much as you like, as many times as you like, as long as you fork over the correct amount of money to take. The only exception to this is if you're below the ages of 13 or over the ages of 150. You only get 1 chance. If below the ages of 13, you only have 1 chance to take it, and then you will have to wait till the ages of 13. If you fail it above the ages of 150, you pretty much don't have a chance of becoming an adventurer again, unless there are special exemptions from that rule. But that's it for me for now. If you want to read Nameless, go to patreon.com/ShadowDrev. First 30 chapters are for free. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Next video, I'll talk about elemental rookies. Y'all take it easy.